Hello, everyone and no one, and welcome to another Rotten Movie Reviews. Today we are reviewing the next Nicolas Cage movie Next from 2007, to where a Las Vegas magician who can see into the future is pursued by FBI agents seeking to use his abilities to prevent a nuclear terrorist attack. And I will say it was kind of a wild ride. But with me as always is Tier Alexander. Tier, how you doing?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Oh, not so bad. Join us as well as Angela. Angela, how are you?
I am okay, and you are quiet.
Let me move my mic a little bit. Any better?
Much.
Oh, hopefully they heard my introduction and everything. And join us as well as Will at Forge. Will, how you doing?
I can enhance movie.
Yes. You can perch up on the T.
No, no spoilers. I gotta see it.
I feel assaulted. I got breast.
Yep. Gave you
That
chesticles.
was fun.
This was actually a very, very fun movie.
Yes, it
Indeed.
was.
It was a great movie for a movie that can be summed up as Post-Nut Clarity, the movie.
That's not going to be funny.
I mean, in a way, and they didn't go too heavy on the CGI, kept majority of the effects practical.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole thing in the final part was actually pretty freaking good.
Yeah, I like that ending effect they did. That the visualization that was pretty epic.
Yeah, they did a lot of really good effects. They kept the story moving. They kept it active. They kept it exciting. There was no boring here. There was no I didn't think there's much in the way of like dropped story elements or anything. And the one thing is Angela's post nut clarity thing. It does make sense though that that would extend his vision since she's the only thing he'd ever seen more than 2 minutes out.
Yeah, he was really
Yeah.
pent up, you could say. He finally got that release.
Nice.
Damn
Rotn, you are my spirit animal.
That shouldn't be as funny as it was. But it was great.
Of the other things, the only thing that I think was funny is that for this, and this is just me going to the little gun thing, other than one gun, every gun the bad guys used was an H&K. One bad guy used an old Beretta M12 machine gun or submachine gun. Otherwise, you had the sniper dude with the gelled up green hair, and then the other guy when he was dragging Liz around using a HK USP, and they had they had an MP5, an MP7 that the one chick had, and the one dude that was when he stopped using the handgun and went to the G36. The only other one that they had was the one guy who used the bolt action rifle. So two guns. I was right on, or how I meant to say it. Fucking fly.
Did you just shoot the fly?
No, I clapped. I tried to catch it between hands.
Did you really think that was a gunshot?
I was hoping he did. I was hoping he said, yes, I shot at the fly. Fucker didn't deserve to die.
I've shot flies with airsoft guns.
Well, it's like the casino guy. I think that was supposed to be a Beretta. They didn't really go into that one because it wasn't used for too long, and he wasn't one of the main villains, of the terrorists.
No, he was just an incidental push the plot along.
Yeah.
I don't think he was a villain at all. I just think he was, an obstacle that the first act needed.
Well, he was still technically a criminal, but he wasn't. He was a bad guy, but he wasn't the villain.
He wasn't the big
antagonist.
Yeah,
he was an antagonist.
No.
No, and
that's kind of the point.
And like the old westerns and whatnot, basically he'd have been someone who was there that you never even knew his name.
He's a
He was
plot
kind of fun.
device to
Mhm.
establish the premise of the movie.
Ah.
Yeah, Mr. Scott's right. You're not Chris Johnson. You can't catch it.
Mm-hmm. But
But that was
otherwise,
a good one.
yeah, and I will say, freaking good cast. I mean, obviously we have Nicolas Cage, we have Jessica Biel, who I put tears head over for this one, which is just
they have
hysterical.
injectables.
Julianne Moore, who played the FBI agent.
I absolutely love Julian.
Yeah, the security
Yeah,
guy
her.
was Jose. Oh, Jesus Christ, I would fuck up his goddamn last name.
Jose Zanga.
Zanga.
Let me.
It looks like Jose Zuniga.
Ninga
That's
Zanga.
Jose Zuniga.
Zuniga. He's been a lot of stuff, and he is easily mistakable to look like a lot like Tony Shalhoub. Enough to make you
Tony Shalhoub. But yeah.
Enough to make you look twice.
I actually really, really like that dude. The first time I noticed him was in, I don't know if you remember the movie Alive,
No.
about the soccer team or lacrosse team that crashed in the Andes Mountains.
Nope.
Well, it was actually a really good movie with Ethan Hawke and a couple of other really good actors, and he played this crazy guy in that. He was also in Con Air. He was the Fed.
Yeah, that's right.
One that got killed on the plane.
No, we haven't mentioned Peter Falk yet.
Wasn't he the friend who Nick Cage was playing pool with? Yeah. I still think it's funny you had Jim Beaver playing the NSA director, but the guy who played Mr. Smith, Thomas, Jesus Christ, Crutchman, I don't know, but you know he's been in quite a bit of stuff. Like he was in the second Resident Evil movie. He played the dad in Wanted. He was Damaskinos in frickin' Blade 2.
Thomas Crutchman.
But they had a good cast who did well.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly good movie for something that I had never heard of.
Yeah.
Until you mentioned it last week.
Just fun movie, actually.
Yeah, it is.
It's kind of like that whole thing of kind of thinking like Final Destination, but not as much death.
No, it's much more controlled.
Yes.
I made Liz tier Liz just because I thought it would be funny. Because I let Angela be Julianne Moore.
Which is cool.
Mr. Scott.
Julianne Moore's awesome.
Yeah.
So she was not a nice person.
And based off what Tiers said for what he likes for his dating preferences, he gets to be a hot white chick. Hey, he got to be Nicolas Cage last week because, like I said, I was never going to let him be Sam Elliott.
Well, can't blame you.
I mean, I'm sure if Polydub sees this, he's going to get mad at me being like, how dare you put someone else's avatar over Jessica Biel? Yeah, basically, I
It's
just try to
my
make.
show, and I get to do
Yeah.
the thumbnail how I want to.
Oh, I know he'll understand it. He's just gonna do it to give me shit. But yeah, I just go through to make the thumbnails pretty much as funny as I think I can.
I have to admit that one made me chuckle.
Oh
I was
yeah,
just like, oh wow, Tyr has boobs. Tyr will be happy.
Maybe.
Like Tyr will be happy. There are boobs.
Good point.
I will say for this movie, I was glad how well it actually just kind of kept with pace and didn't have too many lull moments.
Yeah, it was not. It didn't get slow. It didn't. It didn't turn around and like. How am I? It was played seriously without taking itself too seriously.
Oh, and
Fair.
apparently I missed it around the 4 minute mark. The girl with the necklace at his magic show, that was Nicolas Cage's ex-wife.
Oh,
Because apparently also this movie was based off a book, which is why for
cool.
majority of the movie Cage wears a golden jacket, because the story was a nod to the original Philip K. Dick story, The Golden Man.
Oh wow, Philip K. Dick. That's really good. I need to look up that book.
Yeah. I also like that it's like in the whole fact of like
I,
him going through the different things of once he actually met her to see how well it would go, and then to finally be like, all right, I'm just gonna wait, and then dickhead ex-boyfriend shows up. And what's up, Jen?
but yeah, Philip K. Dick is a good author. I tend to like her.
Yeah, you get this truly supernatural ability. What are you using it for? Helping you test out pickup lines on a girl you like.
Well, you can't forget that it started in the beginning of like, he's going through and winning money at the casinos, but he's not winning a metric fuck ton. But apparently he wins enough that it sets him off.
Yeah, wins enough that they get suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it takes much to make casinos suspicious.
Mm-hmm. I did like
That
it.
person walked out with money.
They didn't get suspicious though until they realized who he was.
Well, I mean, all he would have had to do is to throw suspicion off a little more, is to go through, win quite a few, lose a few, win a few. But they kept getting confused because they're like, why isn't he going for more money? Like, basically, it's why isn't he getting that giant payoff so he doesn't have to work anymore?
Yeah, we know he's cheating. We don't know how, but if he's cheating, why doesn't he just cash in big?
Jen, I don't have that kind of relationship with Tyr. I just get really tired of listening to him say that the movie needed more tits.
Well, I mean, that would be with most 70s movies. We're in the 2000s now, so you're really not going to see that too often.
I know. I was just commenting on.
I will
What
say,
Jen's
but for this movie, I did like the fact they actually had him be a little endearing of like when they're going towards, fuck, I can't remember the town they were supposed to be, like Flagstaff, I think it was.
Yep.
She stops at the one place she works once a week for, the one kid's birthday party. And then like, Cage performs a magic trick to still, be kind to the kid who's there or whose birthday it is. Like that was actually pretty sweet. And it wasn't some stupid magic trick. I mean, it was kind of a stupid magic trick, but it was like actually a pretty cool stupid magic trick. Rock into a lizard.
It's a pretty good trick.
I was gonna say that was pretty cool.
How did he pull this off?
Oh, and apparently that diner that they used was the same set from, or same diner set from Triple X, the first one.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And apparently the joke he tells about the Buddhist monk, he messes up the punchline.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Make me
Yeah.
one with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here like, that's not how the joke goes. That's not how the joke goes.
Yeah, but I know the joke, and so it still made me laugh.
But yeah, I really can't say too much for this movie. It's like it's a pretty decent movie, and you get to the point to further along before you know it was all just technically not a dream but a vision.
Yeah, but let's just say it's the whole it was all just a dream thing is a gimmick that is nearly impossible to do right.
Yeah.
They did it
But
right.
I was gonna say they actually did. They did it really, really well.
Oh yeah, because in that whole
Yeah.
thing, like he says, he can only see 2 minutes ahead until at one point he just had that. And then what's really funny is when he's doing the whole TV channels things. Did you? I figured Tyr would have got this one, but one of the ones he stops at is the Doctor Strange love movie, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. You know, where it's the plot of the rogue general attempting to start a nuclear holocaust with a wayward nuke. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could see Steven Seagal and Nicolas Cage. I mean, it was still weird seeing like Seagal and was it Damian Wayne in The Glimmerman?
I don't know. I know I saw it, but I remember nothing about it.
Seagal movies are a weird thing. Before a specific time frame, they're not terrible. They're not great by any means, but they're good. Like turn your brain
They're good
off.
popcorn
Yeah.
films. And they are. Like the last one that was decent popcorn fodder was the one with the oil fields under the Native American.
Oh, Fire Down Below.
Yeah.
I still say Exit Wounds wasn't terrible. Where Michael J. White's actually the big villain thing, and DMX plays a good guy.
Don't think I saw that one.
I definitely haven't seen that one.
Oh, it was Keenan Ivory Wayne. Thank you. I knew it was one of them. I just couldn't remember which one. I don't know why I was thinking a Damien for a name.
Well, it would be Damon, and it's still. It's not surprising that you would confuse the two.
I just don't remember their names as well. I just know that he was also in was it The Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis.
Wait. Could have swore it was still Keenan Ivory Wayne's. Not right. Now I gotta look shit up. Oh. Well,
always entertaining when Rotn gets lost there.
Okay, yep, that was Damian Wayans.
Damon.
Damon.
Damien is the little kid that
Yeah, I keep
Satan's son.
fucking that up.
He just like his daddy, the devil.
The bad part is I could see that sung like the old westerns.
Some people just kind of look very similar. In that time frame, there's a lot of black actors that were doing the clean shaven bald head look.
Well,
Or just
Damon
as
Wayans and Keenan Ivory Wayans look very similar.
Yeah.
They definitely have that familial resemblance.
Oh, that too as well. I'm trying to think of anything else to say about this movie. Anyone else got anything?
Jim Beaver cleans up.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't realize it was him. I like had to do a double take to make sure that I wasn't hallucinating.
Oh yeah, he can. Jim Beaver can do a lot of different roles just for the whole fact like he's proved it in Supernatural that he can play like the smart redneck or seem like a dumb redneck. He's done shit in like NCIS where he plays a villain. He was in the what was it, the one or two episodes of the Tremors TV show as a cop.
He
So
was in Deadwood. He played actually.
never watched
I
Deadwood.
love that ending effect where it's him going through the different timelines, if you will, and it shows him splitting off into multiple versions of himself. That was an amazing effect.
Yeah, that wasn't
I
bad.
think-
Go ahead, Angela.
I'm sorry.
I said go ahead.
I was actually really struck that it really made the premise of the story hit home, given how many times that you had to watch him die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just like, how badly does that fuck up your brain to sit there and experience death that many times?
Well, it depends on how badly you want to succeed in what you're doing, because
I mean, for all we know, he's kind of used to it.
Yeah, because he says he's had the gift his whole life. I still like the one where he stops the guy from freaking getting the explosion. And then once, he disables the bomb, he just looks up at him. He's like, thanks.
Remember, he said, I'm going to save your life. Like, I'm trying to save your life.
The only one that I was like, okay, that's a little ridiculous is with, because they really only had like an aim point, I want to say, on the M4. Okay, they actually put a bit different of a scope on one. No, that looks more like an aim point of like how accurate she was shooting way far away at the crane.
Yeah, for a gun that she hadn't,
sighted in.
Yeah, she didn't sight in the gun herself. There's no way she knows
the idiosyncrasies of that weapon.
Yeah, to be able to pull off a one shot, and yeah, if you're the person who's zeroed in that rifle, and you have it all worked out right, yeah, you could pull off that shot. But if it's not your gun, you're not the one that zeroed it in and everything, you haven't practiced with that specific weapon,
I mean,
you're not going to one shot that.
I mean, at least they didn't have her just one shot it. She shot like 4 times.
Mm.
I mean, but she really was. She would just aim, trying to hit the target.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gave her the correct specifications of, hey,
yeah,
aim here, at this point, So I can give it some verisimilitude with
But
that.
she hit with her the point being she hit with her burst.
Mm-hmm.
Even in my layman's, I understand what that meant.
Well, she didn't use a burst.
Yeah.
She just shot a few times.
Well, I fucking hate this damn mission. Oh, wait a minute. I got it. There we go.
But yeah, that cast is freaking fantastic.
I wonder what the
They had a
budget
very
with that
good
movie
cast
was.
for this.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Falk was amazing.
The budget for this had to be amazing. As a matter of fact, let me look it up. Shit! It had this movie barely broke even.
Hmm.
It had a budget of 78 million. It only made 77.
I don't think it was advertised well. Because, like I said, I had never even heard of this movie until.
I remember seeing ads for it.
Don't.
Movie errors. Let's see if I can find.
I just like that since this is, and it's actually kind of funny because after this movie, 5 years later, Jessica Biel stars in the remake of the Total Recall movie, which is another Philip K. Dick story. But I still like the joke to where it's like, if you gaslight your girlfriend into believing that she's cheating, it's like someone's cheating on her or something like that. That's a dick move. But if you can gaslight her into believing she's an android and that whole thing, that's a Philip K. Dick move.
Ha! All right. So, all right. Continuity mistakes. When Nick is sitting on the bed talking to Jessica, her position changes from lying on her side to lying on her back as the camera angle changes. As Chris pretends to be killed by the sniper, the terrorist tries to make a call. In the close-up, he uses a Nokia 1100, but in the other shots, it looks like a different phone. Other mistakes: the dead blonde whose throat was slit in the shown close-up twice, once in real time and once in a crime photo. Her neck is unharmed and with blood only underneath her head. In the scene where the logs are falling off the hill, one of them hits the police car, and in the scene where it hits, there is no kind of impact on the front of the car. But in the next shot, the car flips over. There's dents on the front of the car. God damn it! When Chris falls,
Turn around and look up everything wrong with this movie.
No, there's a site I go to when I'm looking when we do actual old movies. I try to look at this site to see like continuity arcs. Remember when we looked at Caveman?
Okay.
It's only like this is the last one. When Chris foils the robbery attempt in the casino, the scene shows that he drops the gun effortlessly and points at the robber in the inward direction. Distance between his fingertips is closer than his shoulder width. Furthermore, Chris utters, "It's his gun. He's gonna shoot you people." After dropping the gun, when Kylie Farris tries to convince her supervisor to capture Chris, the scene, presumably taken from the surveillance camera, shows that Chris gives a little bit of a thrust on when he drops the gun, but points at the robber in the inward direction. Also, Chris only utters "it's his gun" in the surveillance tape. The first time code is the approximate time of the robbery attempt, and the second time code is the conversation between Callie and her supervisor. Hmm. All right. Corrections, questions, endings.
Yeah, and apparently from one of the things they redid for the script was adding more of like the actual terrorists into it, because originally the whole thing was just supposed to be uh Cage's character, narrowly avoiding the FBI and or the federal agents and the PD, that the local PD that they're working with as well, until finally has that a culmination of him helping. And there were supposed to be 10 bombs hidden in major cities instead of just like one nuclear bomb.
Oh, and I get the feeling like the terrorists, they had the potassium iodide and everything, but actually paying attention to the timeline of things, it's like with as quick as they're going, they're not going to get radiation sickness
Mm-hmm.
from sitting next to the bomb for that short period of time. And they really weren't giving themselves enough time to get out of the area of destruction where they'd only have to worry about radiation.
Well, honestly, from the way everything played out, it looked like it was a rushed ending that they kind of shoehorned in. Think about it. If the bomb was going to go off in the time that they took, they would have to take the girl to the place, the parking lot, set everything up, drive back or drive somewhere out of the city.
Well, if you also pay attention to what they said earlier when they were looking at why the cops are going after the guy as well, is they do say that it took them 2 years and they were paid to do the specific thing. So someone else is planning for the whole bomb thing.
Oh, so they're just kind of
Hired help.
Yeah. All right. I got another question though. All right. When she makes this, when they find the woman that's had a throat slit, and they've been looking at my off. Oh, they're trying to find the psychic. How do you know? Wouldn't it have been easier just to assume that someone is spying because they're onto your operation? I think the casting should the scripting should have been, we found a mole in our network. And as another question I got, like, how do they know about Nicolas Cage? It's not like he advertises his powers.
You mean like the feds?
I mean, what it should have been is that one of the feds is a mole, and they're feeding intel, and you don't find out that he's a mole until like that would have been a better ending, like having the black guy be a mole or something.
Well, they went about it
Much?
they went about it the way they went about it, so
I'm just pointing out like story choices. Like again, I like the movie. Don't get me wrong.
It's that whole thing that they didn't figure exactly how they were going to do everything.
Yeah. Again, I like the movie, and I'm only tearing it apart because I like the movie.
Well, what's also funny is in this one he predicts the future, and then in 2 years, in 2009, he portrays a character in the movie Knowing, who decodes numbers to predict the future.
He has a lot of movies
for Mr. Scott. The whole thing of like, what movie was this competing with? It was 2007. I mean, Nicolas Cage had 3 different movies that year that he was in that were released with him in it. He had Ghost Rider, this, plus you had the second National Treasure movie, plus how many other movies that came out during 2007.
Yeah. Again, the marketing budget probably was weak for this because they probably put it out to die and was just hoping to recoup the money they spent.
Well, even if they don't recoup all the money, a lot of that stuff can still be written as a tax write-off.
That's true.
Like, that's how Uwe Boll's movies were. They were actually meant in a lot of cases just to be a fucking tax write-off.
Ooh, God, he is the worst thing to happen to video game adaptations. Now that I said it, I'm probably going to get a request to fight him. Probably going to send me a request like, "Yeah, you talk about my movies. Meet me in the ring, kid."
Video game adaptations are the worst thing to happen to video game adaptations.
I mean, it can. Okay, it falls in the whole thing. They can be done right. They can't. I shouldn't say right, but they can be done well. Honestly, at least I still have yet to see the second and third. Well, third one's not out for the Sonic movies. But like the first Sonic movie, Detective Pikachu, from what I've even heard for the newest Super Mario Brothers movies, you can do it.
You can. It's just rarely done right.
But the problem is those aren't adaptations. They are brand new stories. Sonic, there's no Sonic story, Sonic game where he goes into our world and does shit in our world.
Yeah, the one that you could actually say is in universe for that is Detective Pikachu.
No, even Detective Pikachu isn't a modernization of our world.
Except for it's still set in the Pokemon universe.
Ish.
Now, so like the first Resident Evil and the first like half to 2/3 of the second Resident Evil movie are pretty decent for game canon, other than, being like alt story. It's once you get to that latter half of Resident Evil 2 and beyond that they just kept writing themselves into a corner.
No, the fact that Alice fights Nemesis is nowhere near canon because Nemesis only was sent at the STARS units, and she wasn't a member of STARS.
No, but if you paid attention in that whole situation, they were both projects. So that's why I said this would basically be alt. It's not a direct adaptation of it. Because seriously, there's no reason for them to do a direct adaptation of the games because
the games exist.
Because the games already exist. I mean, they still could.
All right. See, the problem is...
But the big problem for that is quite literally, it's just going to be a speed run of the game.
Not even that. What they did with the first Resident Evil was they created characters out of whole cloth that don't exist anywhere in the canon.
Yes, that way they don't have to go through. They made it a mixture of like kind of how Resident Evil 1 was for it being in the one mansion, except for instead it went down to the hive. And by having the other characters, but it following, at least for the most part, canon of that, it wasn't near as bad. That way they're not fucking up actual game characters, which they later went on to do.
What they later went on to do, so it really didn't matter at that point.
Yeah, that's
what they should have done.
That's why
take the Outbreak story.
That's why I said the first movie isn't terrible.
I have a bad taste. I have a bad taste in my mouth because they ruined. All right, they ruined something that could have been great with Monster Hunter. Because I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan, and the movie is ass.
Yeah, so is the fucking first House. What was it? House of the Dead, House of the Living Dead. The fucking first person shooter. The second movie's actually not bad, but it wasn't produced by Uwe Boll. And how they actually bring it to the front one is the zombie that they're going after to get a DNA sample that caused the outbreak in this game or this movie is one of the originals main ones from the first movie, and that's how they tied it in. Like, oh, it's X person from this whole thing that happened.
All right, wait a minute. Clown says Resident Evil was the first DVD I ever bought. Hadn't seen the movie, and if it sucked, there was a Slipknot out video in the bonus feature. Fair enough.
Well, like I said, for video game adaptations, you're never going to get it exactly how it's supposed to be. I mean, there's a lot of people who like The Witcher, but it's not a direct video game adaptation because it's supposed to be based more off the books than off the game. But we don't even get proper video or like book adaptations either.
It depends.
It was
depends.
actually pretty good adaptation of the book. At least
Until
the first.
they went off the rails. I think the best book adaptation is the Bakshi Hobbits.
Huh?
Like the Ralph Bakshi's version of the Hobbit.
Oh, the animated one.
Mm-hmm. How would you compare this movie CGI to Ghost Riders? It was fairly decent. It wasn't. I think this movie was meant to be in 3D because a lot of shots clearly had like a 3D effect to it.
This wasn't 2007 wasn't when the 3D craze was hitting the most.
I mean, it was still in its infancy, so I'm pretty sure everybody tried to like ape it, but
Like,
it looked like they could have been.
They did better with this because they weren't trying, like, other than a few of the effects in that whole thing for how some of the stuff was done with like debris and shit falling. Majority of what they kept it to was pretty practical. I mean, even the Ghost Rider CGI wasn't too terrible, other than for how much they were focusing on Nicolas Cage. His wasn't as good as it should have been.
Innocent. That was cool.
I only had the issue with his head. Like, the rest of the effects in that movie, I thought were really good. I just had the issue with his head.
His head is too big.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, they had everything else so right, and then his head grew. It was like Ghost Rider's head in the Grinch's heart.
Grew 3 sizes that day.
Really wish they would have kept Sam Elliott's character around. That would have been. He could have been his Cagliostro. Cagliostro.
He played the role he was supposed to play, and then went on.
Retiring Mr. Miyagi.
So it's canon that there are multiple Ghost Riders running around at any given point in time. So it's not unheard of to have, you know, it wouldn't have been unheard of if they in this movie did that. It would have been interesting.
It was kind of that whole thing of just like for how long he'd been around, he'd exhausted everything he could to stay alive.
I got one last ride in me. Like, dude, why waste it?
He wanted to see it through.
I was gonna say it was actually the task that he was tapped for.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of anything else for next that I would have to say about it. Apparently the cliff or whatever motel that they were at's an actual motel or hotel.
I wonder how much they paid them to do that effect.
Do what effect?
The chain, the cliff fall, everything that happened during that. I mean, that was a nice effect.
Fear is obsessed with effect.
No, I'm sorry. Like, that whole sequence was amazing.
The affect or the effect?
Effect. The Affleck.
I had to say that because I fuck those two up constantly.
I have the hardest time remembering exactly which situation.
The effect is something that
causes an effect.
Go to hell. Y'all know what I mean. That whole sequence.
Technically correct.
I'm just saying that entire sequence was amazing. Just
it was no lie. I not disagree.
I only had an issue with like for some of those ones of the slight ridiculous over exaggeration of the stances he did, like when he went to duck underneath the frickin' rolling Land Cruiser, and he has like the
Mhm.
arm raised to then bring down, and it's like, just duck.
No, I gotta make it look cool. Come on now, Rod.
Well, that was most likely the director, but like they do that in so much shit that doesn't need it. But what if I do this whole thing where my arms wave out more and whatnot? Dude, you're trying to get on the ground.
Like, just
Well,
get your ass down.
Yeah. Kind of like if you've played the remake of Resident Evil 4, there's at one point where Leon goes to grab a crank and two chainsaws go through the walls and start going towards each other. And it's like, okay, all you had to do was grab the crank and back up, but instead he got, kind of does a run up the wall and flips over the chainsaws. It's like, okay, it looks cool, but it was fucking pointless.
Hey.
I mean, the best thing that came from that is the one guy. It's like, oh, is he going to do it? Is he going to do the?
Cheers, boyfriend.
And he's just like,
Hey.
is he going to do it? Is he do it? And like some guys when he's playing it, and when he does the thing, he's like, can you take me higher?
Oh shit!
That was a nice one.
Wow.
I actually also liked for this movie how ending the credits, instead of having them go, they went the opposite of how they normally do.
Yeah, they ran them down instead of up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't run them backwards. They just
Yeah.
First line coming down, second line coming down. That'd have been really good, is if they'd run them backwards too.
Been a neat thing.
I'm very good with the neat things. I'll have you know.
He's a cat. It's in his nature. Oh. Damn. I gotta get some sleep soon. Oh, I gotta work them up. Rotn,
Yeah.
call out for work for me.
Hey, TSA, I hear you got this hoser working for you. Yeah, he needs a day off. Oh, you
He
don't.
died.
He's calling in dead.
Temporarily.
If you see him tomorrow, it's zombie mode. You know how to handle zombies, don't you? I mean, you work for the government. You should know how to handle zombies.
I mean,
Like,
if
he's calling
all
in dead
memory
again.
serves me correctly, they did like the government does technically have a plan in effect, or not a plan in effect, but a
Contingency plan.
contingency plan if it does do that. Or it's like if they were to have a zombie apocalypse, kind of like if the world ends, the IRS has a plan to still collect taxes.
Not that it's gonna fucking matter.
That's really. I saw that too. Rotten. I'm
And
not sure which show it was. Which which
Several people have done a
channel
thing on
was
it.
on.
It's like several people have done that things. I'd seen it before, but yeah, it's like basically if there's a major event and whatnot, the IRS is to not try to collect back taxes, but just collect current taxes.
Yeah, we watched it yesterday.
yeah, like
I mean-
you all know that ain't gonna work, right? Don't you?
I mean, good luck with that. You can try to collect your taxes.
But
Me and
yeah,
my goats are going to run away.
they have a contingency in place should a world-changing event take place where these specific necessary functions of the government will continue to take place, and one of those functions is collecting taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, one hell of a contingency plan there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Again, they can try if they want. Movie. What's good?
Otherwise, just a good fun movie. Not something you got to think a whole lot about.
No, definitely not. It's a fun popcorn popcorn film, popcorn film. Um, that some can be summed up in that one statement that I said earlier, which is post nut clarity, the movie. It just is. Which it makes it sound like it should be a bad movie, but it's surprisingly good
Yeah.
for a movie that is essentially that.
yeah, Angela's trying to turn it into a porno.
He really
Not
is.
really.
I mean, the best
I'm
way you can describe
trying
it is
to
before
turn
that
it into a fat electrician film.
is like with Agent Ferris, basically. The whole thing of that, him basically coming to the realization of everything, and after of having slept with Jessica Biel.
But he's seen his death.
Jessica Biel, and suddenly he can see more than 2 minutes into the future. It's that simple.
Well, I mean,
Again, that's a powerful PUSS spy.
Well, apparently it was destiny.
It was destiny. Wait for 100,000 years or so when the sun doth shine and the moon doth glow and the dust doth roll. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
You've never heard
Tenacious D.
tribute?
I have. It just
And all that reminds me of is, I mean, granted, I will still say I don't think Minecraft needed to be turned into a movie.
We shouldn't have.
But why they're having Jack Black play the main character, I don't know.
Oh, Jack Black, how the mighty have fallen.
I mean, for the most part, Jack Black has played the same character in majority of of his movies, other than a quaint few, for the past 15 years.
Yeah,
like
Jack Black plays Jack Black.
Playing Jack Black.
The best acting I've ever seen Jack Black do is Picket Fences, where he had a recurring role.
I will honestly say, I know some people probably don't like the movies. The two Jumanji sequels, he did a good job, but it was that whole thing. Each of the actors in the movie had to play other characters. It's that whole thing of oh God, having the trying to think of a thing of having Batman, but it's a D&D thing. So it's whoever was playing him as the whole thing is actually now in his body. So that's what they're having to see. So who they're actually supposed to be as their character isn't actually what they are.
Yeah, they're playing someone else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll still say, like, if you haven't seen the 2 Jumanji sequels, I don't hate them. I think they're decent, and they don't shit
Oh,
all
that's
over the
fair.
original. And
Brother, you said, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and Kevin Hart's in it, and he's not terrible, and they never should have fucking cast him for the Borderlands movie.
They should have never made the Borderlands movie.
That too.
Brother, you said Ice Cube, and now I'm gonna get sidetracked. I watched Anaconda last night with a friend, and there is a scene in that movie where they play the film backwards, and unfortunately, they're like right by a water fountain. So you're just sitting there obsessed with the fact that the water is flowing up the waterfall. I said water fountain, I meant waterfall. But you're watching the water go up the
Upwards.
waterfall instead of down. And it totally distracts you. Once you see it, you can't see anything else.
Yeah, otherwise, I don't know if we're gonna have a movie for a while that we're gonna not really like from Nicolas Cage, because he had quite a few good ones.
Yeah, this is his action era.
It's like, so far it's until we get to Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance and that whole thing, but I don't know how Knowing is gonna be. Bangkok Dangerous looked pretty good, and I've heard nothing but really good things of the second National Treasure movie, which is what
I've
we
actually
watched.
seen Knowing when it first came out. I'm looking forward to seeing that again.
I mean, we could technically watch the Kick-Ass movie, which isn't a bad movie in itself, but it is a dog shit adaptation.
Don't go watching a lot of.
That's what has been making me juggle for the last
So basically,
since
so basically, stick to watching the reverse rivers and lakes that you used to. Well, we're gonna get out of here. It's been about an hour. So final thoughts. The movie, Tier, go.
Great movie, great effects. Turn your brain off and enjoy.
Angela?
It was really fun. Definitely worth the watch.
Will?
Watch it, enjoy it, and well, I guess that's really kind of it. Watch it and enjoy it.
So yeah, I would definitely say to watch it. The direction was pretty decent, even with having like 3 writers, which I did completely forgot about who directed it and wrote it, because I typically don't give a shit about most of those things. Fun movie, good time. If you don't like it, you lost like an hour 40, and you've probably lost more time on like modern television.
Oh, you've definitely watched worse stuff on TV
Or Netflix.
or Netflix. I don't care who
Or Hulu.
Or Amazon Prime.
You done worse than this.
Or HBO.
That reminds me, I have more Reacher to watch. Thank you, Ryan.
Well, otherwise, don't forget there's Minions of the Zoo. That did happen earlier as well, which Tier has tomorrow. He also has.
And I'm hosting.
Yep, that's why I said he has it tomorrow.
Yeah, I was about to say
Friday
I'm
as
also
well.
hosting Friday. Yeah, for Samuel.
Yeah, because I guess he's got something he's got to do.
Yeah.
And then Angela will be on Mr. Adams' channel. It's AJ's Retro Arcade.
Yes, sir.
On the Mondays.
Monday, 7:30 my time. So 10:30 if you're out east.
The only time zone that matters. Yeah.
And then Tier also has the Never Watch Alone on Thursdays, which Angela joins as well, with Dr. Functional and Mitch the Ripper, otherwise known as Mitch Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
We are
there's
doing
the Saturday show that we do as well, to where I usually drink far more than I should.
this Thursday we are doing Scream Legacy, and we are doing Alien: The Adora Files. So
And I will say,
hopefully it'll be good.
I will say, at least for being on Tier's channel, no one's really gotten pissed at how much I drink, because I'm not near as bad. Like I'm what, if we're gonna go off the Gutenberg scale?
Oh,
I'm
you're
gonna give myself like a
nowhere.
3.
You're nowhere near as bad as Goot.
You're 1.
Yeah. I was like, and that's at max. Like Gutenberg's just a straight 10 if he's drinking heavy.
And he's an ass.
Then don't forget to check out what Will does. Is it a painting stream, or is it going to be a video game stream?
Next one's a game stream.
You still
Yay.
playing with Mooney?
Yep.
Well, yeah, you still playing Grounded or whatever it was?
Yes, indeed.
I completely fucking guessed. Well, now that we're done with this, I'm going to get out of here, and I think I'm going to watch Resident Evil Vendetta, because if you want to watch a good Resident Evil movie because you're a fan of the games, watch the CGI movies. I haven't seen the fourth one, and I haven't seen the 4-episode CG TV series or TV show that they made for Netflix. But the first 3, good. And if you're a John Woo fan, you'll definitely like the 3rd movie.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the gunfights are great. But we're going to get out of here. Have a good one, folks. Oh, and in 2 weeks, I turn 38.
So
Happy
Birthday scream.
And what am I getting myself for my birthday? A dental implant.
Beer.
No, I'm having a
Hey.
tooth installed. A fake one.
Nice.
few of those.
Being able to plausibly eat normal is what I'm looking forward to. So have a good week, everybody. Hopefully shit goes halfway decent, and next week we will have a Talking into the Void. And I have no idea what's going to go on for that one. I ought to look up more shit. So have a good one.
Good night, y'all.
Alright.
Go to the movies.
Bye, all.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Join us again next week, or you can check out the other people in the panel in the description and see us again plausibly on one of their channels, or just check out what work they've done. Have a good week, everyone.